Hey, good evening. Good evening. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today, we're just talking. It was I ended the day green, but first 4 minutes into the trading day, I got up to be like 600, 650 bucks. Took a floor break, ended up getting stopping out for a loss. Went down negative like 100 bucks. Then I took the ceiling break, almost hit take profit, and it didn't quite make it there. And then it reversed, and I took a loss, and then I took like a 600 or 700 loss. So I'm down 700 or 800 bucks. And then it broke the floor. I ended up going back in on that one with a little bit more contracts and end up getting a winner out of that. And then end up breaking the ceiling. And I had to sit at my computer a little bit longer than what I like. Moral of the story, what do I say all the time? Get green and stay green. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we all humans. And I followed my plan. It's just I got those two little quick scalps right out the gate. I should have just stopped, and I didn't. But hey, it's all good. You know what I mean? So hey, I appreciate you guys for coming on. I value your time. Before we get started, does anybody have any questions? Bradford, you got any? Or I know you got something for me.
Yeah, now I'm just on this personal journey now, man. Everything is just little stuff. I just gotta be disciplined and consistent. So
Hey, don't.
if I think about something, I shoot it out.
Hey, you good? Does anybody else have any questions? All right, let's get ready to rock and roll. You share my screen here. All right, what do you guys see? My Thinkorswim, right? All right, you guys are up top there. So if I look up in the chat box, DCG Elite IO, hey, welcome. For you guys in the Zoom, what's going on? Hope you guys are having a good one. Let's get ready to rock and roll. So first things first, we're going to piggyback off of yesterday's topic, last Tuesday's topic, why I feel investing is crucial or important. And it's a staple inside of my journey, you know. We're going to pull up the report here, and I'm going to bring this over here. And every month, I give you guys retirement shares for January, right? Why is it crucial to buy shares? Well, you guys hear me say that my slogan for trading is I like to day trade for my job. I swing trade to help grow my account. That includes the weekly hit list. You see us firing away on all cylinders off the weekly hit list. And then I use the profits of both to kind of help pay my bills, and grow my account. And then I use some of those profits to buy shares. So in my account, I mean, I got definitely over 20 or 30K in shares. That's all profit money. So they could all go to zero and it really wouldn't bother me. I mean, it would bother me, but they could go to zero and I didn't really lose anything, right? So a lot of people, I feel, sleep on the retirement side, but I'm going to show you something that you guys could use to kind of help give you guys a visual representation, right? One of them would be if you would simply go to a chart here, and I'm going to share with you guys something that I like. Hershey. I'm from Pennsylvania, sweetest place on earth, Hershey, Pennsylvania, right? Hershey's chocolate. I'm sure you guys all eat the chocolate. If we zoom out here and we go over the last 2 years, right? And this is the more difficult way, but you would really need to understand my theory or how I like to buy shares, right? One of two things have to happen here. Problem number one, when we are above this 55, aka the alligator, we expect everything to push up in price, right? And I don't want to buy shares when I expect things to push up. I'd rather buy shares when Warren Buffett says it best. You want to be a buyer when there's blood in the streets. So when the market rolls over and tanks over right here, I'd rather buy shares down here. I don't want to buy shares up here when it's trending, right? Does that make sense? So for me, I look to buy shares on sale, only when they're on sale, right? Another thing that I like to do, if we come here and we look at my screen, I like to buy shares that have a 2% and less failure, right? What exactly do I mean by that? Well, I can't tell you if a company is going to be here for the rest of our lives, but I look at companies that I feel everyday use. What do I feel is going to be here over the next 10 to 20 to maybe even 30 years, right? We'll just put 30 years. things that come to my mind, right? I don't know what comes to your mind, but like, I don't necessarily look at like a Blockbuster or something like that as a company that failed. I look at things that we use every single day. One of the things that I know that we use every single day, you guys come over to my house and we have a get together. Well, you guys throw trash out, right? So who's coming to pick up your trash? Well, for one, we turn trash into energy. So I feel a trash company is never going to fail. So a company that I would like to look at would be Waste Management, right? Could Waste Management fail? Absolutely. And if you got any questions along the way, you can throw them in the box, you know what I'm saying? Or come off the mic. We're a huge family here. So Waste Management is a good company for me. Another company that I feel has a 2% or less failure rate would be Apple, AAPL, right? Another company that I feel would have a less failure rate, 2%, would be Hershey. If any three of these companies would fail, no offense, but like the money that we have in our shares may go to zero and we're going to lose. But not only that, the money you have in your bank account and anywhere else that you're saving, it's probably going to be worth nothing. And we're probably going to go to the river to fish for food. So at that point, none of us have anything that is of value, right? That 2%, I like to say, is something I'm confident in putting my money into, right? So if what I want to say, if like BJ's or Sam's Club fails, or Walmart, which I don't think that they could fail, but they could, but to me that's like a small probability. That's something that I'm confident in putting my money in, right? If Waste Management fails, where the heck's all of our garbage going? We're going to have a slew of garbage, which causes less consumption of energy. It has so many more problems. Apple has what, $1 trillion in cash or something like that, or like hundreds of billions of dollars of cash. If Apple would fail, you know how many other companies would fail before Apple? So once again, that gives us a greater advantage to put some of our money into it, right? Hershey, same thing. Hershey owns Hershey Park. It's an amusement park. It owns the chocolate factory. It owns a school. So a whole bunch of things that to me is, those are three companies that I feel like you could put your money into. I do have a retirement list, but to me, when I look at a retirement stock, I don't look at just a dividend paying stock. I look at something that has such a high probability that this thing's going to fail, less than 2%, right? But once again, that is just my opinion. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. So I like to say that there's no facts behind this with the probability. That's just my way of explaining it to you guys, right? So if we erase all this, that is what a retirement stock or company looks like to me, right? Go back to the chart here again. So what's my qualifications to buy this? Well, for one, is it in my 2% threshold that goes on in my head, what I think about? Hershey, once again, we just talked about it. Hershey's chocolate, the Hershey company. I need it to go underneath the 55. So price needs to be underneath the 55 EMA on the daily chart. And if you want to be even safer, even the weekly chart. The second thing that has to happen for me is this custom Beast Mode breakout tool, right? If we get underneath it right here, who's to say that you don't buy right there? Yeah, that's a good buying point. But then how comes you don't buy the next day or this day or this day or this day? To prevent myself from going crazy and running out of capital anytime this thing goes on sale, I need it to be underneath this 55 EMA. And then I need to get my first green box. So right here, I'd buy shares, right? The only way that I would buy shares again on this company is if price ended up coming all the way down here and then trying to put a bottom in and come back up, and I may buy shares again down there. But I purposely wait for my first green box, right? So if we go back here and you find something that's like normally what happens without even knowing what's going to happen, price comes down, I'd buy shares here, right? And every 3 months, you're going to get paid a dividend just for holding this company. We fast forward, boom, 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 boom. Look where price is at. If you bought in here at 209, you could sell out at 220 short term. You just made $11 of share price, which is very good on the stock side. You could sell out and wait for it to happen again. Fast forward, we get underneath the 55. We got our first green box. Now it gets above it. I will not take that. I need to get something like this. We're underneath the 55. We got our first green box. I'd buy this again at 222. What happens? Goes from 222 up here to 230. Fast forward, Once again, we start breaking out. We want to buy undervalued on the share side because we don't have time to care, anything to worry about. We want to buy undervalued. And then over time, once our alligator starts coming out of the water and it starts facing that 2 o'clock, guess what? We get to sell out up here again if you want to. And now you just made another $10 or $15 of profit on the share side. Price comes back down. You get another entry again right here. What happens? Price goes from 225 up to 242. And then look where we're at right now. We're undervalued again. What do you think is going to happen, right? We may fall back down to 200. We may fall down to 150. But over the long haul, I expect this company to increase in value over time. So what I did is I put a 2-year chart up, right? And this is what I do. And this is how I come up with this in some of my spare time. We got it. Does that green arrow up print prior to the green box printing, Tracy? No, it's not. This is actually reversal arrows we have. The beast mode arrows. It helps me pick the high and low points of everything. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. It looks perfect, but it's not always perfect. Like there's times where you don't really get movement in your favor. Like if you bought puts here, you had to wait 2 or 3, 4, 5 days or 6 days for it to roll over in your favor. You know what I mean? So to answer your question, this just tells me previous highs and lows. So when this up arrow prints, I know that this is a low point. When this down arrow prints, I know that this is a high point. So now I'm in a box. So whatever way I break out of this box, now I see this up arrow, I'm going to put another line here. Now I got 2 different boxes, right? So then I can delete this bottom one and I can take a breakout. Look what happens. I wait here for about 10 or 15 or 20 days, 1 month. I get my breakout here, but nonetheless, look what happens. That bad boy rips up and I can take profits. Same thing right here. Down, I'd put a high point here, and then here would be my low point. Once again, you take a break down here, it never breaks the high and ends up rolling over. So that's a different day's topic. I mean, we could definitely go over that as well. But for right now, we're going to start over here about 2 years ago. Price comes underneath the 55. We get our first green box right here, and we are kind of above it. So we want to get anything there. Comes back underneath. Here's our second green box. We'd buy shares right here, right? And I really wouldn't buy shares unless it fell underneath this price pretty hard. So then price rolls up, right? And we're going to fast forward. 6 months go by, 7 months go by. Now we can undervalue it again. Here, so another green box, we're above the 55. Here we're above the 55. Here we are below the 55. So I'm going to take another entry of shares right here. Then price rolls up. If I buy here, I'm probably not going to buy here or here. Price goes on another mission, comes back down. I'm going to buy more shares right here, right? Price comes back up again, comes back down. I may buy some shares right here. Price then rolls up, comes back down. I may buy some more shares right there, which is the same exact entry spot. So I probably wouldn't buy it again. And then that brings us to where we're at. So if you got 2 different ways that you could do this, every time you buy shares, you could have a take profit of 5 or 10 or 15% of movement to the upside. Or me being 34, I'm trying to accumulate as many shares as I can until I'm 40, and then I'll reevaluate it, and I'll probably start taking profits on shares at that point instead of holding them. However, I have everything compounding into more shares. So I have a point now where it's like some of the shares I own, I get paid dividends, so it's just accumulating more shares. Anyway, if you use this technique like I like, here would be your first entry, here would be your second entry, here would be your third, and here would be your fourth. It would bring you a cost average of about right here in the middle. So I'm going to put my line here, and I'm going to delete this line where we entered. I'm going to delete this line. I'm going to delete this line, and I'm going to delete this line. Where does that bring our cost basis for the share price? It's about $190 a share. Look where the share price is right now, right? And it doesn't matter if you buy 1 share or you buy 100,000 shares, right? The power with this is getting in the game to buying these shares. So if the share price right now is 224, we'll just say 224, even though it's almost 225, 224 minus, right? What was our average? 190. We're $34 net profit, right? So if we take $34 net profit and divide it by our cost basis of 190, we're sitting in profits of 17% ROI on the share side, super stress-free and relaxed. Put a DCG in the box if that's the situation that you like to be in, right?